Well, our team's a little beat up. We're trying to get healthy. Don't know exactly the status on several of our kids yet, but we'll be ready to play. We're excited to go to Starksville and play Mississippi State. They're playing extremely well. Obviously, Will Rogers is a great quarterback, but I love their receivers. They're playing great, and Marks and Johnson are really fine running backs. Their O-line's playing well as well. Defensively, with Johnson and Wheat and Pickering, and then the back end with Green and Matthews and those guys, they're playing extremely well. Special teams, they are outstanding. A lot of challenges that they give for us, but we're excited to go down there and play them.
First up, we have Tom Murphy, the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
I know that you just said that you're not sure of the status. I get that. So I just want to ask you, do you hold any hope for KJ this week? And what do your quarterbacks look like in practice this week?
Our quarterbacks have had a really good week of practice. Obviously, KJ has not practiced to this point. We still don't know whether he'll be able to practice today or not. Our rule kind of is he's got to practice on Wednesday if we're going to play him on Saturday. So it's kind of a wait and see. So, Tom, honestly, I don't know if he'll be able to practice today or not, but there's obviously a chance that he will.
Okay. And then yesterday we noticed there was a little bit of movement in the secondary. I'm wondering how comfortable you feel, and like a guy like Bakke, could he pick it up quickly enough to help you soon?
Well, as you know, as everyone knows, we're beat up a little bit in the secondary, and so we looked on our board and tried to find out anybody on the team that could possibly help us with Sam doing so well on special teams. He kind of stood out there, Tom, and so we decided, he's got the body and the physical features that you'd like to have as in the secondary, and so we moved him over there. He's had a good 2 days of practice. He picks up things well, so we're hoping that he'll be able to help us sooner than later.
Okay, thanks.
Uh-huh.
Next is Andrew Hutchinson of Best of Arkansas Sports.
Hey, Sam, I was wondering if KJ's unable to go, could you foresee a situation where you maybe use both Cade and Malik?
Yeah, I think there's a real possibility that we would do that. Certainly, we would go with a hot hand, I would say, but in our game plan, there's certainly opportunities for both those kids to play if KJ can.
And also, what does this week look like for KJ? If he's not able to practice, is he able to still be in like meetings? And what's it look like for him?
Yeah, he's been in all meetings. He's been to both practices. We're waiting to see if he's able to practice. And in all honesty, I don't have that answer right now as we're sitting here. If he's able to practice with him, we'll certainly practice him. If he's not, then we won't, and that's certainly not my call. But whatever that is, then we'll look at him and go from there.
Thanks.
Next is Scotty Bordelon of Whole Hog Sports.
Hey, Sam. Hope you're doing well. On Monday, you said that Mississippi State likes to show a lot of movement on its defensive front. I'm wondering if you could maybe expound on what that might look like and just the challenges it gives to your O-line.
A lot of challenges because they're so athletic, and Irish Wheat is certainly a guy that you want coming off the edge for you, along with Pickering and Jordan Davis. I like them. I like their front seven. I like their whole defense. But the bottom line is they are I talked about movement because they're a blitz team. Obviously, if you bring an extra guy, the gap becomes on the line of scrimmage instead of the second level. A lot of movement, a lot of crossing face, things of that. I believe they use their blitz scheme to stop the run, and they're very, very good at it. And certainly they will come after you in third down as well. But not a lot of teams have a tremendous amount of run blitzes. This team does, and that's how they're built, and certainly been working for them.
And then at your cornerback spot, Nudie is allowing about one catch per game, according to the numbers I just looked at. I guess what's maybe impressed you most about what he's done this season?
I think just his competitiveness. He takes everything very personal. He works extremely hard, but he believes in himself. And I think his own self-confidence, and he's obviously long and can run in those things, and has played a lot of ball. But I think what separates him is, A, he's got really good ball skills, and B, he's got a lot of confidence, has played a lot of ball, and certainly picked up what we're trying to do very quickly.
Thanks, Sam.
Next is Christina Long of the Southwest Times Record.
Hi, Sam. Most of your games have had some kind of big special teams play or another, and Mississippi State's one of the better special teams units in the league right now. Just how much are you expecting special teams to be a factor, and how do you prepare for that?
Well, we have to play extremely well on special teams, because if we don't, they'll exploit us. I think they're fantastic in special teams, and has a lot to do with their punters and the people around their returners, but their returners are really good. And also, Griffin's a great wideout as well, but we've got to do a good job basically of corralling, punting in the right direction, and kicking the ball out of the end zone. We've got to take those guys out of the game with where we spot hang time, how we get our gunners down there, and certainly kicking the ball out of the end zone if we can to keep it. We've got to do everything we can to keep it out of their hands.
Thank you.
Next is Gary Graves of the Associated Press.
Yeah. Hey, good morning, Coach. I'm working on a story about SEC West defenses, and I wanted to get kind of your general impression from what you've seen in your time in the league about what has made a lot of them so effective. I think, last I looked at, there were at least 4 or 5 ranked in the top 40 in several categories, and you have some guys, ranked high as well individually.
Well, I think it starts with D-line, the athleticism, the size, the speed of the D linemen in this league are outstanding. Then I think you run to the corners, and I think some of the best corners in America are playing in the SEC, where once you have those type guys, those cover corners, you can do so much with your defense after that. If you don't have them, you're very, in my opinion, limited on what you can do. You play a lot of zone, but other than that, everything would have to come off of some type of zone dog blitz. Then the other thing after that is the linebacker play is outstanding. I've always believed if you don't have very good linebackers, that at times that you wouldn't have a very good team. And I think the linebacker play has been outstanding in the league. But I think when you look at defenses, you're trying to find weak spots, and in this league, just nobody has very many of them, if any. And I think that you have 11 good players out there with some of the finest coaching in the country. It's very difficult to score points.
Thank you.
Next is Bob Holt, the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Hey, Sam, how you doing?
Bob, good.
I was wondering, Baxter on Cade Ford, he's probably not a guy, going into the season we thought a whole lot about, but kind of what's the story and how you guys got him here to Arkansas, and just, what impressed you want to bring him in?
And I think he was just looking for a place at the time, and, Cade's not on scholarship or anything. He just wanted a place where he thought he could grow. He liked Mark Calla, to be honest with you. I think he had some type of relationship with him before. He obviously knew about Kendall. And so they struck up a relationship, came here, I didn't know a tremendous amount about him, except, I had recruited his high school because they had an offensive lineman there when I was at Georgia. And but he was hurt, and so he knew me and I knew him simply because I'd been in his high school several times in his senior year. And then after that, we had a need there, and we didn't have much depth there, and he came here. He's been an outstanding member of our team, very mature kid, works hard, knowledgeable, good thrower, good, and can run. I think if you ask his teammates about him, they'd say that he's been a great addition to the program.
Thanks. Mm-hmm. Coach, we'll wrap you up with Steve Moulton at WZZN.
Okay.
Coach, certainly do appreciate the time here this morning. Hope you're doing well. I did want to ask about facing the type of offense over the last couple of years. Your 2 games against Mississippi State have been awfully memorable, and of course wins on your side. But just the overall facing an air raid, the challenges that brings to you, Coach.
Well, they have a lot of offensive power, and it starts with Will Rogers. Fantastic. The guy's fantastic. If you if you don't disguise your coverages and he knows exactly what it is, you got problems, because you got great receivers that can catch the ball, and at any point they can turn around and hand it off, and they're running the ball as well, in my opinion, as they've ever run it in the last 3 years. But there's just so many things that you have to defend against them, and they have talent at each one of these spots, and their O-line is playing extremely well. So it starts with Will Rogers, the ability for his wide receivers to catch the ball. The backs are catching the ball out of the backfield and running on them. They just got a really powerful team. I think, I'm not speaking for Coach Leach, but I would assume that he's very happy with the talent that he has there, and he's using every one of them.
And I remember after the Cincinnati game, you talked about telling your team to enjoy the win after that Cincinnati win, but it feels like that was completely different after your first win at Mississippi State, Coach. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, the first win was certainly my first win as a head coach, first win many SEC games for the kids, 20-something I think it was, or whatever it was, 3 years, something. It was a lot. And we were on the road, and of course it was COVID. It was certainly different and all those things, but to see the kids' face finally win a game, and it wasn't, was really cool. And that's why you get into coaching, for those type moments.
Thank you, Coach.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Coach.
Uh-huh. Thank you, guys. Go Hogs.
First up, we have Andrew Hutchinson of the Best of Arkansas Sports. Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, Coach. Arkansas hasn't fully ruled out KJ, and then they've also got 2 other guys they could play. How difficult is it when you're preparing for uncertainty at the quarterback position?
Well, I think they'll stick with what they do on offense, at least to a large extent. And so, you're still preparing for the same offense.
Thanks, Coach.
Next is Tom Murphy of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Coach, you said at your presser on Monday that you guys would dig into what you could find on Fortin and Malik Hornsby. What did you find out about those 2 guys?
Good players, but again, in the end, I think they'll run what they do offensively. I mean, very so how they move their feet.
Right. And you just said a while ago that special teams could wind up being real huge in this game, and that you guys have been pretty fantastic on those. What stood out to you and your performance in special teams this year?
And I just think collectively we're getting better. We've had the group together for a longer period, and we're kind of coming together and improving. I mean, we got a ways to go, but we've got a couple pretty good returners, and we've been punting and and kicking the ball pretty decent lately.
Next is Scotty Bordelon of Whole Hog Sports.
Hey, Coach, I'm curious what makes Ra Thomas a tough cover at receiver, and just what kind of season he's had to this point for you.
Work in progress. He's improving. Explosive. Tall guy that comes out of his cuts pretty quickly. I think his best football's ahead of him, but he's made some good plays.
And secondly, just what are your impressions of Dwight McLaughlin, Arkansas's top corner? I guess just prepping for him this weekend, and what jumps out to you about him?
We just got to have good technique and play the best we can, just have good technique, and the most importantly, just worry about playing the best that we can play.
Next is Bob Holt, the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Hey, Mike, how you doing? Arkansas linebacker Bumper Pool number 10. He's on the verge of setting the Arkansas all-time tackles record. He had 20 down there in the game 2 years ago against y'all, and just wondering, what you remember playing him twice now, and just how he looks on film. Just what kind of player you think he is?
I think he's good. He's got one of the greatest football names ever, and I think that he's just kind of, especially for his position, and then he's constantly playing. I mean, he's not one of those guys that ever takes it, he plays off. He's constantly going somewhere and trying to get in the action.
And then your new kicker from Northern Colorado. How'd you guys end up getting him? And it looks like he's doing a good job for you. Obviously, kicking was an issue last year. How good is it to feel like you got a reliable kicker now?
Well, we'll see. I mean, sometimes I think that. Obviously last year it was a big factor. I mean, it was one of the differences. There was another external difference that it cost me some money to talk about, but we just found him on the portal pretty much.
And how happy have you been? I think he's 4 out of 5 and 53-yarder. I mean, how happy?
Yeah, and he can kick it quite a ways too. He can kick it quite a ways, and pretty good, relaxed personality guy. Which kickers have unique personalities anyway, but of the variety of personalities, you'd like a relaxed one.
Thanks.
Next is Glenn Gilbo of Outkick.
Coach, I was wondering if you eloped when you got married?
No, in hindsight, though, it sure would have been a good idea. We did come down to, we weren't engaged long, though, and it was, we were not engaged long, probably a month, and that's one of the greatest things that ever happened, because it was a long month between, weeding through all the, the logistics, and everybody thinks they're so important and they're very forgettable in the end. But there was a point where it came down to, should we get married at the end of the summer? Her parents were moving. And so there was we could get married, in late August, or then it was like, all right, no, this is already a pain in the ass. No late August. And so then we got married the first part of June, which was a very good decision.
So how far into the process were you thinking we should have eloped? Pretty quick?
Yeah, it doesn't take long. I mean, as soon as my mom, my sisters, my aunts got involved, and then and then of course hers were very involved. She's the youngest of 5 girls. Can you imagine that, 5 straight girls? And so then she's the youngest of 5 girls, and then her and she was drinking some of the Kool-Aid a little bit too, kind of the whole, do you want the blue invitations, the tan invitations, or the pink ones? And it's like, and then I'd say, I don't care. Then it's like, okay, well, we want you to be a part of this too. Okay, the blue ones. Well, you've got to, give us an answer. Yeah, and then they'll say, well, I kind of like the tan ones. All right, fine, the tan ones then. Well, you're just saying whatever answer that I give. You can't give a good answer. You just have to go work or go hang out or make up reasons to not be around,
Thank you. Good advice.
All right.
Next is Tom Murphy of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Coach, you said you thought Arkansas would do what they do. Their run game's been pretty productive. What do you think of their scheme and Rocket Sanders, the tailback?
I think they do some good stuff. I think he's a good player. Then I think that, they have a certain amount of misdirection and try to make you guess whether the quarterback's involved.
On Monday, Sam said that he really likes you. Y'all's conversations at the coaches' meetings and stuff have gone well. What do you know of Sam, and what do you think of him?
He's had a great career. Just a good hard-nosed football coach. The other thing is, background-wise, we're both O-line coaches. We both have coached O-line for a lot of our careers.
I found that women like the romantic stuff, just to be honest with you.
They like the what?
Romantic things like planning weddings.
Oh, no, they like processes. They like processes where they rein everybody in and get control and drama, And so, and if you're into that, heck, you stay engaged. Just have like a 10-year engagement, and you can celebrate. Instead of celebrating anniversaries, you can celebrate. Well, this is our 10-year engagement. This is our 11-year engagement.
Sounds great. Thanks, Coach.
All right, appreciate it.
We'll finish you up with Gary Graves of the Associated Press.
How you doing, Mike?
Good.
Did you feel like, I guess, with all the attention focused on Will and the offense, that your defense gets overlooked, overshadowed? And what's been the process in terms of building that in the kind of unit that it is, being opportunistic and such?
I hope they're not overlooked. I've never felt they're overlooked. They're not overlooked by us. They do a tremendous job, and they were the most dominant force in the last game we played. We do some good things up front, and are explosive in the secondary, and it kind of showed. We got some turnovers, which was important, and but when it's simple enough and everybody's running the same direction, then our guys, the biggest thing, they love football and they're aggressive, and we do a pretty good job running to the ball.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
That'll wrap you up, Coach. Thank you.
All right, thanks.